Allah, God be upon you all. We at the IPC London branch are very honored indeed to have a scholar of the caliber of Sheikh Ahmed Deedat in our midst today. But we are also just as much honored to have a dedicated Muslim of the caliber of Dr. Yaqub Zaki in our midst also. He will be the chairman for the meeting, and he has taken the trouble to come all the way from Scotland, and we appreciate that very much. I'll now hand over to the chairman to continue proceedings. Dr. Zaki.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna salat wa salam ala Sayyid al-Mursaleen, Ahmed Muhammad al-Mustafa wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Amma ba'd. Brothers and sisters in Islam, distinguished guests, in the name of the Islamic Propagation Center, I bid you welcome to today's events. Before the main feature, which is the speech by Ahmed Deedat, begins, we shall have a reading from the Quran, Tilawat al-Quran, by Qari Muhammad Farooq.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن إبراهيم كان أمة قانتا لله قانتا لله حنيفا ولم يك من المشركين شاكرا لأنعمه اجتباه وهداه إلى صراط مستقيم وآتيناه في الدنيا حسنة وإنه في الآخرة لمن الصالحين ثم أوحينا إليك أن اتبع ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين إنما جعل السبت على الذين اختلفوا فيه
سبحان الله
وإن ربك ليحكم بينهم يوم القيامة فيما كانوا فيه يختلفون ادع إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين صدق الله العظيم.
The basic division in the classification of religions is between ethnic and universal religions. There only are three universal religions in the whole world: Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam. So you don't in fact have very much choice. All of the other religions in the world, thousands of them, are ethnic religions, and Judaism is an ethnic religion. I do not think I would be doing the Jews any disservice if I said that Judaism does not claim to be a solution to the world's problems, but only a solution to the problems of the Jews. I shall therefore be very interested to see how the speaker deals with this subject, which of course is of great interest to us, in that Judaism, like Islam and Christianity, is also an Abrahamic faith. I am confident that the speaker will do justice to his subject, because Ahmed Deedat is a household name. He is one of the few Muslims to have mastered the discipline and technique of comparative religion. I've long believed that the greatest weakness of the Muslims in their encounter with members of other faiths is their ignorance of the principles of comparative religion. This you can see any time that you watch a debate between Muslims and Christians, or between Muslims, Christians and Jews on television. Invariably, the Muslim speaker covers himself with ridicule and in the process invites not a little discredit on Islam. This is to be attributed to the fact that there is not a single department of comparative religion anywhere in the Muslim world. For this reason, it is all the more important that an individual like Ahmed Deedat should have devoted his life to the study of comparative religion. I shall therefore be most interested to hear what he has to say, and I have pleasure in introducing to you the speaker. Ahmed Deedat will speak for about 45 to 60 minutes, after which there will be an opportunity to ask questions. Sheikh Ahmed Deedat.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الدين عند الله الإسلام صدق الله المولى العظيم. Mr. Chairman and brethren, I read to you a very brief sentence from the Holy Quran, from Surah, meaning chapter, Ali Imran. You owe it to yourself, Muslims as well as non-Muslims, to get hold of a copy of the Holy Quran. I said Muslims as well as non-Muslims. The non-Muslims, they must know, they owe it to themselves, that since there are 1 billion Muslims in the world today, they ought to know how their minds are working. Even as a missionary, you want to fight the Muslims, an intellectual battle, even then you need the book to arm yourself as to what the other person believes and what his book of authority is. And for the Muslim, it's also imperative that in this environment, English-speaking environment, that each and every Muslim here ought to arm himself with the English translation of the Holy Quran. This particular one I have in my hand is by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. This volume has about 2,000 pages. And in it, how will you find Imran? There are 114 chapters. And this was only one of the 114. How will you find Imran? Can anybody tell me? Index, yes. You see, this particular one here has a very comprehensive index. At the back of it, what you want to know. Our Qari, the young man who recited to us so beautifully, he was reading from Surah Nahl. Where will you find Nahl? I said, go to the index. It'll tell you chapter 16. Around verse 120, he was speaking about Abraham, the father of the Jews, the father of the Christians, and the father of the Muslims. I don't know why he chose that verse, because there was no communication between me and the reciter as to what he should read. But as if he was telling us, don't forget, Abraham is the father of the Jews and the Christians and the Muslims. He's spoken of in the verses he recited that Abraham was an upright person going straight towards God, and he was not of those who associate other beings with God. And in that chapter, again, in the verses he read, the principles of religious preaching. He says, Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmati. Say, invite all to the ways of thy Lord with wisdom. Wal maw'izatil hasanati, and with beautiful preaching. Wajadilhum billati ahsan, and reason with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. Chapter 16, ayah number 125. Our Qari read it to us, as if instructing me as well as you that look, these are the principles of religious talk, discussion, dialogue. So in Surah Ali Imran, chapter 3, ayah number 19, verse 19, Allah Bari Ta'ala tells us, He tells the whole of humanity, addressed to mankind, say, Inna Deedat indallahi al-Islam. Most certainly, the religion or the deen, the way to God, acceptable to God Almighty, is Islam. Another place Allah says, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. That if anyone chooses a religion other than the religion of Islam, he has lost. In the hereafter, he has no place. So, what about Judaism? What about Christianity? When we say that Islam is the only way, is there no such thing as Judaism? Is there no such thing as Christianity? No, there are such systems. Then what does the Quran say? Allah does not accept anything but Islam. Only Islam, submission to God's will. That is what He wants. So now I have to satisfy the chairman and you, my brothers and sisters. How do I justify the statement of the Quran? No Judaism, no Christianity, but Islam. I am telling you, it's quite easy, very easy. You see, the Judaism came before Christianity and before Islam. That is what the whole world will tell you. Moses lived long before Jesus and long before the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Anybody will tell you that. But I am asking any Jew, you ask any Jew, what is your religion? And he will tell you his religion is Judaism. So I ask him, you can ask the Jew, is this in your Torah? We in Arabic say Torah, the first 5 books of Moses. The Jews say is the Torah, meaning the law, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the first 5 books of the Holy Bible. Is it in there, your Torah? Like what we say the Quran is to us, the Torah is to the Jew. Is it in your Torah? This word Judaism? He will tell you no. Is it in your Mishnah, your secondary source of information, your commentaries? He says no. If he knows anything at all about his religion, he'll tell you no. The word Judaism is not in the Torah, is not in the Mishnah, is not in the Talmud. So you see now, he's got to say it's not there. If he said it is, he said, show me where. He hasn't got it. Where did the word come from? Now we want to know, where did you get it? So if he knows, he will explain to you that this term Judaism was created, concocted actually by the non-Jews. You see, the non-Jews in Palestine, they were looking down upon the Jews, and they said that the religion followed by the children of Judah in Judea is Judaism. Moses didn't say that. David or Solomon, he didn't utter the word. They'd never heard the term Judaism. Jesus never heard the word Judaism. This was a term invented by people from the outside, disparagingly pointing to the Jews that the religion of the children of Judah in Judea is Judaism. And they liked the term and they adopted it. It is not in the Torah, it is not in the Mishnah, it's not in the Talmud. If there's any Jew here who knows any better than that, I would like to hear from him or her. Then what was the religion taught by Moses? We believe that the holy prophet Moses was a true messenger of God. God was directly in communication with him, and whatever he gave in his time to his people was from God. We accept that. But what was his religion? Because he never heard the term Judaism. If Moses was alive with us here today, or if on the other side, if we have the good fortune of meeting Moses and shaking his hands, and if we asked him, "Oh Moses, what is your religion?" Since he didn't hear the term Judaism, he can't say Judaism. I expect him to say that my religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. A beautiful definition for the teaching of God. My religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. And I'm responding, I'll tell him that one word for that in the Arabic language is Islam. Islam means exactly that in one word. Islam is a religion of total submission to God's will. So what he was teaching was Islam. Maybe he himself didn't know the term Islam, but that is the definition he's giving of Islam. So the teaching of Moses was Islam, not Judaism. Therefore Allah says, only Islam is a religion which is acceptable in my sight. No such thing as Judaism or Christianity. Where did Christianity come from? The word Christianity, where did it originate? Did Jesus give his religion, says my religion is Christianity? Did he say I am the Christ? If you know that Christ is a Greek translation of the Hebrew word Messiah. Messiah in Arabic, Masih, means the anointed one. Priests and kings were anointed in consecration to their office, that from now on you are my high priest, from now on you are our king. So the Hebrew word for that is Messiah, one who is anointed. The Greek word for anointed is Christos. But Christos is a bit too long. So they lopped off the os and left with Christ. It is a Greek translation of the Hebrew word Messiah. Jesus never heard the term. He didn't hear the word Christ in his lifetime. Believe me. He didn't hear the word Christianity in his lifetime. It was unheard. It's a later on creation. And if we meet Jesus in his second coming, and if we have the good fortune of asking him, "Oh Jesus, what is your religion?" If he said Christianity, We can ask him further. Say, oh Jesus, tell us what church you belong to. Are you an Anglican, or a Lutheran, or Presbyterian, or a Jehovah's Witness, or a Seventh-day Adventist? What are you? What church you belong to? Ridiculous, we agree. It's a ridiculous thing. What will he say? What is the name of your religion, oh Jesus? Tell us. And he will tell us that my religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. One word for that in the Arabic language is Islam. Islam means a religion of total submission to God's will. God says only Islam. Christianity is your creation. Where did the term come from? It is in the New Testament. That the enemies of the followers of Jesus, disparagingly they pointed to them at Antioch, and for the first time they use the term that these are Christians, meaning the worshippers of Christ. And the Christians like the term, so they adopted it, from which we get Christianity. Christianity was a term coined, invented by the enemies of the followers of Jesus. You like the term, you take it. You see, in my country, people call other people names. They call them names. Among the whites who are ruling the country, the majority are English and Afrikaner. The Afrikaner calls the Englishman Ruinek. Ruinek means rednecks. What they're trying to say is that this guy's a softie, he's effeminate. When he goes in the sun for a little while, he gets red in the neck. You know, he's a soft guy. That's what he means when it's a Ruinek. It means a softie. You know, effeminate chap. We are the Boeras. You ask the Englishman says he's a Boera. Boera means a farmer. But now, if you ask the Afrikaner what he says, I'm a Boera, means I'm a farmer. Nothing wrong with it. But when the Englishman calls him a Boera, he gets offended. Because when he says Boera, he's trying to imply that he is backward, rustic, farmer, uneducated barbarian. Though he himself says I'm a Boera, but an English-speaking person says he is a Boera, meaning he is backward. But they call each other names. They call the colored community hot knots, means Hottentots. They call my people coolies, laborers. They call the Africans Kafirs. But now if you like the term, you adopt it. No Indian goes around in South Africa boasting I'm a coolie. No colored goes around boasting I'm a hot knot. No Boera goes around boasting I'm a Boera in the sense of a backward rustic. And no Englishman goes around boasting we are Ruineks. But if you like the term, the choice is yours. The Christian made the choice. They liked what the enemies called them, and they accepted it. But the religion of Jesus, according to the definition he will give us, that my religion is a religion of total submission to God's will. One word for that in the Arabic language is Islam. And he is a Muslim. The Quran describes Jesus as a Muslim, his disciples as Muslims. What does it mean? That they followed Muhammad? No, they didn't hear the term Muhammad. Then what does Muslim mean? Muslim means one who has submitted his will to the will of God. Anyone who submits his will to the will of God, the Quran says Abraham was a Muslim, Moses was a Muslim, David, Solomon and Jesus were Muslims, Muhammad was a Muslim, and everyone who submits his will to the will of God is a Muslim. In the Garden of Gethsemane, we see this submission by Jesus, which qualifies him to be called a Muslim per excellence. He goes to the Garden of Gethsemane, according to the New Testament, and he tells his disciples, wait and watch, meaning keep guard. And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed to God. Said, oh my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass away from me, meaning remove the difficulty from me, but not as I will, but as thou wilt. The expression, not as I will, what I want, but as thou wilt. Whatever you want me to do, whatever you want me to go through, oh my Lord, I am prepared to submit. The word for that in Arabic is aslama, submitting. He is a Muslim who has submitted. So Jesus was a Muslim, Moses was a Muslim, and if each and every one of us, we are prepared to submit to the will and plan of God, you are all Muslims. There is no such thing as Judaism, and there is no such thing as Christianity in the official books of the religion. Therefore, I say that there is no Judaism and no Christianity. But in the teachings, I say that actually there is no difference. In the fundamental principle of the teaching of Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, there is not an iota of difference, not one dot. I said in the fundamentals of the teachings of Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad, even as recorded today in the Christian Bible, there is not an iota of difference. And I prove it to you. We want to know from the Jews. What is the first commandment? The most important thing in your faith. The first commandment, what is it? So he would tell you in the Hebrew language. If he knows, I asked an elderly Jew, I says, now, do you know the Shema? We say the Shahada. They say the Shema. I said, do you know the Shema? He said, my wife knows it at home. I said, no, I want to know whether you know it. However, the Shema is the Shahada of the Jew as given out, uttered by the Holy Prophet Moses. The Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Some 1,300 years after Moses, Jesus Christ is on the scene. He is trying to reclaim his people, bring them out of formalism, ceremonialism, into the truth of God, make them to accept the letter and the spirit. They are going for the letter of the law, they had forgotten the spirit. And as a reformer among the Jews, we believe as the Messiah, he had come to reclaim them, put them back onto the path. But his preaching, when he preached, the Jews, they thought something otherwise, that this man has brought another religion. Because the way he preached, he didn't preach like the other Jews. The other Jews always said, it is written. Moses said this. It is written. Isaiah said this. It is written. Jeremiah said this. Everything, it is written, and they quote. Jesus doesn't speak like that. He says, it has been said by them of old time, thou shalt not commit adultery. But I say unto you, on a different level now. It sounds different. I am telling you, you heard that you must not commit adultery. But I say unto you, whosoever looketh upon a woman to lust after her, had committed adultery with her already in his heart. He's speaking with authority. Not what's written. What is written is there, but now I'm telling you this. You listen to me. Again, he says, it has been said by them of old time, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you, resist not evil. He who strikes you in the right cheek, give him the other. It has been said by them of old time, that whosoever puts away his wife, let him give her a bill of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever puts away his wife, save for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery, and whosoever marries her that is divorced, committed adultery. You noted? But I say unto you, but I say unto you, but I say unto you. That created the wrong impression in the hearts and minds of the Jews, that this man has brought a new religion. So they come to him, Gospel of St. Mark chapter 12, verse 29, they come to him and they says, Master,